Hi everyone, in a recent video of mine you'll have seen that I got the Startrc 4th axis stabilizer for the DJI Osmo Pocket. In this video I'll be testing that, so I hope you enjoy the footage. I'll also be giving my commentary over the test footage. The audio was just from the actual Osmo Pocket itself, and it was quite windy when I was out there. And of course we're only here for the visuals, aren't we really? This is not an audio test, it's visuals to be able to test. For the start here, I'll let you enjoy the visuals as I've got the 4th axis gimbal, the 4th axis stabilizer with the Osmo Pocket stuffed in between the headrest and the seat. So I'll just let you enjoy the sounds of the radio fall.
A lot from those in charge. Singaporean politicians are amongst the highest paid in the world. People expect them to get this crisis right. On my taxi ride home from work, I'm reminded of that by something my driver tells me. We have an election coming up, he says, and we don't really have much of a choice. There isn't a viable opposition here. These guys are our only.
Commissioner Vasma, California, the land of sun, surf, rich mountains, 21% highest times, leisure, wealth, and it's the world's 5th largest economy. Besides the billionaires, there's the highest number of homeless people of any state in America, and a chronic shortage of affordable housing. The number of rough sleepers in cities like Oakland was already causing a public health emergency, says Michelle Quinn. Then COVID-19 came along.
A few weeks ago, a car crashed into a homeless encampment near my home. No one was hurt, but there was damage. One tent among 30 set up along a patch of roadside land was destroyed, and 5 solar panels. This collection of nylon and canvas tents is one of many barometers of the homelessness problem in the San Francisco Bay Area. The number of tents here and everywhere grows and grows, and more people are living in their cars. Recreational vehicles, known as RVs, line the streets. Complain to city officials about the RVs, and they blink astonished. Do you see what's happening in our city?
One thing to look out for is the performance of this setup, going over speed bumps. There's one coming up right here. Watch this.
After a piece of metal art standing in the grass near the tents.
And another one right here.
There.
Notice how you see the car moves, but the picture is remaining stable and straight.
She was saying she didn't know anyone.
One more speed bump right here.
The art is making a joke of sorts about how status
And
is
then the
arbitrary,
last one.
and everyone suffers reversals. The homeless encampment just punctuates that statement.
Right, in regards to that footage, first of all, I thought that was really stable, really impressive. The the DJI was set to slow follow with tilt follow unlocked. Okay, so it was tilting up and down there. In this footage here, I'm just taking my little boy for a walk. This is with the 4th axis attached to the Osmo Pocket. So all these walks are just with me and my son. This was the first day of testing with the Osmo Pocket, and this was my very first setting with it, with the actual with the Z-axis stabilizer. And as I went through the walk, every so often I would stop the recording and I would loosen the stabilizer a little bit more and more, because it takes a bit of getting used to, really. Watch this. As you can see, the image looks quite jittery, like there's a bit of a left and right jitter or shake. And I feel like you're kind of eliminating one problem by getting the Z-axis stabilizer, but you're bringing yourself another problem, like in the form of this left and right shake and shudder, which you'll see coming around the tree above. See that shake? And I don't feel like the fourth axis stabilizer here, I don't feel like it's making enough of a difference to warrant its use. Bear in mind the costs of using it. Things like, if you haven't got your mobile phone attached, you can't really play with the controls as you use it. Like if you just look here, just what happened just there, right there, that adjustment, that was me changing the settings on the stabilizer, sorry, on the DJI, to lock the tilt. So now it's on tilt locked. And I had my mobile attached to the stabilizer while I was doing this test. And another thing to bear in mind when doing that is you have your charger wire going from the phone to the bottom of the Osmo Pocket, and that's another point of contact. So that's going to affect the balancing of this stabilizer and its performance too. If you look here, there's some bobbing as I walk. Notice the bobbing. It's minimal, I'll give it that, but it's still present. I was walking quite comfortably with this stabilizer because I felt like that's the point of the device. It's to walk comfortably. You shouldn't really have this stabilizer and still have to do the ninja walk as well. I intentionally walked close to things like cars so you could actually see the actual performance of this. I feel like when you're not walking close to something, it's easy to fake the performance of this stabilizer and make it look like it's doing a good job, when really you're just not showing what it's actually doing. So again, I walk quite close to this fence over here, and keep an eye on the top of this fence. Looking quite good. It does make an improvement to the shots, the performance of the stability, but it's not perfect. This is day 2. Day 2, I never had my mobile phone attached to it, so it was just the Osmo Pocket inside the stabilizer, and I felt like I had got the looseness pretty much right. I didn't really adjust it on this day, but I didn't find that it was bouncing around, and I felt like it should be bouncing while I'm walking. That doesn't look very stable to me. See, this again still does not look stable. There is still some obvious bobbing up and down. You know, there's some movement left and right as well. This wall, watch the wall and watch how it moves in relation to the frame and my movement. Look at that. At the end of this video, I'll use the Osmo Pocket without the stabilizer, and we'll see just how much of a difference it's actually making. And I think when you consider the trade-off between having access to your Osmo Pocket and using the stabilizer, I don't think we use stabilizer much. Okay, here I'm just like squatting up and down, and this is where it does quite well. If you go back and have a look at that, what was happening there, I was squatting up and down there just to see how well it would stabilize itself, and it stabilized itself in a quite concrete manner. It was very stable, but that's when I was making quite a pronounced up and down movement. Okay. Right, let's have a look. I believe this is day 3. Let me just do a super quick check on this. Yeah, okay. So this here is without the Z-axis stabilizer. The remainder of the footage is without the stabilizer. Okay. So how much of a difference is it really making? Again, I was walking quite comfortably. I wasn't doing any kind of a ninja walk. I wasn't specifically trying to keep the Osmo Pockets, from bobbing around. I was walking quite comfortably. And looking at this here, I don't think the 4th axis stabilizer is really warranting its use. I can see myself still using it at some point. I am going to give it more of a chance, but I really do think that we can do without. I think maybe the Scotty Make Stuff one would be better than the Startrc, because that's the one I've got, Startrc. The Startrc device is very plasticky. Let me just show you something here as we go through this tunnel. Okay, watch. As I come out of this tunnel, there's quite a pronounced bobbing around. There again, and again, and then again, and again, and then it starts to subside. I walk through this little area here, quite close to the bush on the left, and bearing in mind the fence on the right hand side, just so we could actually have a look at the level of bobbing around which we get when we're using it without the stabilizer. And looking at that, I don't think it's that bad. Again, I am going to try the stabilizer again. I'm probably going to lubricate it where the joints are, because I think that will free up the bounce, because it should be bouncing around, and I don't think it really was. The Scotty Make Stuff 4th axis stabilizer allows you to loosen the joints, whereas you can't do that on the Startrc device. And I believe that loosening the joint is an integral part to using one of these devices, because you need to minimize the level of friction between the joints while it's being used. If you can't control that level of friction, then the spring is only doing so much, and loosening and tightening that won't make enough of an impact. Bear in mind, this bobbing about that comes about from the actual outset is because of how light the Osmo Pocket actually is. It's because of how light it is. That's why we lift it up and we bob it around as we walk, because it lacks that weight. And if your stabilizer isn't loose enough to handle such a lightweight device, it's not going to improve your work. Anyway, that brings us pretty much to the end of the footage. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks for your time, and hit subscribe and like. Thank you.